Welcome to the Stormsurf video surf forecast for the Indian Ocean starting Sunday, May 4th. Brought to you by Kandui Resort in Mentawai Islands, a great surf destination. Currently in the Indian Ocean, a fairly benign pattern's going on. A broad area of 18 to 20 foot seas near the Kerguelen Islands. But otherwise, and a little bit of something trying to get going under South Africa, 22 foot seas or so. But nothing really noteworthy. The interesting part is that there is activity. It is working its way further north than weeks past, and there's some signs that the pattern is changing, and as we get into the forecast, we'll see exactly how it is changing. First, we'll take a look at jet stream level winds. These are winds 30,000 feet and above. They tend to, when they form a trough, something like this, support a low pressure development down at the ocean surface or in lower levels of the atmosphere, and these winds here in the upper atmosphere also direct the travel direction of storms and gales once they form. Currently we have a large ridge pushing south with a lot of wind associated with it almost to Antarctica. That will shut down gale production in this immediate area, but on the other side of that ridge we have northward moving winds, and this area of stronger winds here, 160 knot winds, will feed up into this trough, likely helping to develop some sort of low pressure at the surface here. So that's one area. There's also another ridge here, and then you're out of the swell window. And back here it also looks like another trough might try to get formed. So let's put this into motion, see what happens. Sure enough, by late Sunday we have 140 knot winds pushing up, feeding this trough. It's kind of pinched off, but still not too bad. And that continues until it finally does pretty much pinch off by early Tuesday or so. And that'd be the end of any low pressure there. Interesting, behind it, the jet starts lifting a little bit north, and let's see how this plays out. And forms basically, this is a bit of a trough here as well, supported by 130, 140 knot winds flowing into it. That continues on. Yeah, the trough actually gets a little bit better defined into Thursday, and then it finally sort of interesting. You have a trough here, but you got this flow going underneath it. It'll be interesting to see what actually plays out here. Here's the Kerguelen Islands here. So probably some good development in this immediate area. Clockwise circulation, that's the pattern for low pressure down at the surface in the southern hemisphere. We'll roll this out. So that trough continues, works its way east into Sunday, almost a week out, and then it looks like almost more troughiness starting to develop under South Africa a week out. So the pattern is definitely on the increase, looking better than it has been, at least in the upper atmosphere, than previous reports. Next we go down to the surface, see what's developing. We have surface pressure. These are millibars, 126, 124. High pressure, clearly south of Madagascar. And then, of course, winds, and winds are what generate seas, and seas, as they radiate away from the fetch area, turn into swell, which, of course, would hit Mentawai Islands, Western Australia, depending on where you are. So currently we have this fetch of 30, 35 knot winds, aimed well to the north, but not a lot of velocity with it. It's good for short period energy, probably like a 12, 13 second period swell. High pressure, and again we saw a big ridge here in the upper atmosphere that supports high pressure, and then the trough here supports low pressure. Let's put this into motion, see how it plays out. Sure enough, that fetch pushes actually pretty far to the north, 30 knot winds, but again that's not strong enough to really do a whole lot. And then a new low starts forming here. Actually, it was started a little bit earlier. That was on Monday night. Sort of falling south, but gets pretty invigorated. 50 knot winds there, 50 to almost 55 knot winds there, and over a broad area, mainly aimed east to west. Notice the Great Circle Pass into the Mentawai Islands. You need something more aimed to the north, but still some fetch will probably work its way up there. This is probably better suited to Western Australia. These winds are pushing right up the Great Circle Paths into southwestern Australia, so that's good news there. Play this out. Fetch moves over the Kerguelen Islands, again aimed really well towards Western Australia, but sideband fetch up into the Mentawais as well. And that's going on into almost Thursday. It just doesn't stop. Even when we're into Friday now, more fetch develop, 35 knot winds. Again, pretty much the same swell angle scenario, and a new low developing under South Africa, 126 hours out. See how this plays out. Things sort of settle down a little bit, and then that's into the end of the week. So as of right now, it looks like a big, broad area of low pressure hanging all through the middle part of the week, probably affecting most of the eastern side of the Indian Ocean. Let's go take a look at sea heights and see how that wind does in terms of swell and sea production. So here's our current situation. Just barely 20-foot seas. We'll put this into motion. And that fetch does move north, a little bit of 18, 20-foot seas. That's probably 11, 12, 13-second period swell. Looks like it's focused pretty well on Bali up into the Mentawais. And, of course, Western Australia will pick up some of that. That goes on, and then here comes the big system out of the Kerguelen Islands. 30-foot seas start out on Tuesday afternoon, quickly building towards the 40-foot range, but over a small area, and aimed mainly just due east. Again, we put that into motion. Take a look at the Great Circle Paths. You see it's not aimed so well up into the Mentawais, but pretty well into Western Australia, so that would be the preferred target. And then a secondary system develops. Again, now we're into 36, 37-foot seas. A little bit better towards the Mentawais here. That's actually not horrible, in the about 200-degree range or so. And then into Western Australia on about the it looks like about the 222-degree path. That looks solid if this system develops. And it just sort of rolls closer and closer to Western Australia, so there could be some size for that. And doesn't stop lesser seas, and we're talking 22, maybe 24 foot, but that's good for good amount of 13, 14-second period follow-on energy. And it just doesn't stop until almost Sunday, a week out. Continues on, so that suggests a pretty good run of swell for probably this whole area. Largest here, smaller here, but a bit more groomed and probably a bit more organized. So this was a pretty good run for the Indian Ocean for this time of year. We're into early May. Looks like something worth checking out. Anyway. That's encouraging and a good sign. Thank you for watching. This has been the Stormsurf Video Surf Forecast for the Indian Ocean, and brought to you by our friends at Kandui Resort in the Mentawai Islands. Check them out, kanduiresort.com.